What is going on, everyone? I am Peter Jennings. I go by CSU Ram 88 across the daily fantasy industry, and I'm back again doing a lineup review. I know what you're thinking. I only do these lineup reviews after good weekends or a good score. For the most part, that's true, and that is certainly my fault. However, I'm going to be doing a big preview of the DraftKings final table, the final 10, where I'm going to go back and look at my lineups, where obviously I did not make the final 10, look at Bales from Fantasy Labs as well, and then I'm going to review the 10 lineups that did advance and give you some information on the players that I know and kind of make some predictions for how things will shake out. That's going to come out on Friday, and I'm really excited about it. But yeah, we're going to dive into the lineup where I was fortunate enough to take first in the game changer. Had a variety of big scores across the industry just because I was so bullish on the Chiefs defense and kind of hit on the right core here. But yeah, took first in the game changer with a tournament lineup here. I'm also going to review my cash game lineup as well. Let's start with my cash game that finished 13th right here with 162.96 points. I was also good for third in the Thunderdome. I had Kirk Cousins everywhere. I thought at home his splits made sense to use him against Green Bay. I was actually pretty bullish on Washington overall as a team. And unfortunately, they didn't win the game, but they did get enough fantasy goodness to put up some big scores. So Cousins was a play that I used in pretty much every lineup. I used this running back combo of Giovanni Bernard and Fitzgerald Toussaint in pretty much everything. My thinking with Giovanni Bernard was that it's going to be tough to run inside against Pittsburgh. So I thought Jeremy Hill wouldn't be as effective, and I thought Giovanni Bernard could have a great game catching the ball. Unfortunately, he got hurt on a catch, so he didn't end up having a good game. Really my only dud in the other lineup. But he was a play that I still am behind. I thought it made sense, and running back was just really terrible during the Wildcard weekend. Toussaint got there, had some nice catches, some good runs. No running back really went off, so it didn't matter. I paid up for Antonio Brown and A.J. Green, which I thought were musts. I really stayed away from the cold game with Minnesota and Seattle, and also didn't really target Houston and Kansas City that much, with the exception of Travis Kelce and the Chiefs defense. So Antonio Brown, A.J. Green, you can see they're heavily owned. They're obvious plays. A.J. Green in particular, I was really high on. I really liked his splits against Pittsburgh. I also thought that A.J. McCarron kind of zoned in on him. Obviously, Eifert was back, but I still was really high on A.J. Green. I played James Jones as well. This was a price move. I had to have Jordan Reed with Kirk Cousins, and in cash, I went with Deshaun Jackson. James Jones is the other play that I thought was pretty much a must on this slate at his price of $4,100. He's been seeing a ton of targets with McCarthy calling the plays, and clearly a red zone threat for Aaron Rodgers. And then the Chiefs' defense was the shocking one. I thought they were the obvious play on the weekend. I was surprised that they were only 28% owned. I know they're a road defense, which I normally don't take, but their defense was getting healthy. They were an elite defense all throughout the regular season, and Houston was missing their offensive lineman, their left tackle, and I just was not a big fan of Hoyer and everything that would go on in that Texans offense, especially if Hoyer got out. We could have seen Brandon Weeden. So I thought the Chiefs defense was an excellent play, and obviously very fortunate that they had the return touchdown, and they went ham. So that was the main reason that I had such a great weekend, was basically being all in on the Chiefs defense. Moving to my first place team here, really solid, basically the same team. The difference here was I used Travis Kelce over Deshaun Jackson, which really just paid a huge dividend. Still with Giovanni Bernard, but this team was just very similar. I ended up swapping around this team because the Chiefs defense did so well. The team was a little bit different, and that's something I really wanted to touch on quickly here, is that take advantage of late swap on DraftKings. Once the Chiefs defense went off and I had Kelce together, I kind of just pivoted the team to what I thought was best. Obviously, I was going to use the two tight ends originally with Kelce and Jordan Reed, which I think is another unique kind of strategy that you can employ. It's definitely more contrarian anytime you use two tight ends, just because people generally put a running back or receiver in the flex. But the rest of the team, Antonio Brown, A.J. Green, James Jones, that was not the same originally. And I pivoted to it just because I had such a good start with the Chiefs D and Travis Kelce. I wanted to make sure, I had the optimal lineup based on my stuff and based on Fantasy Labs to basically ensure, the highest equity. And I pivoted other teams where I didn't have the Chiefs D to much more contrarian plays to try to make up for the difference of not having the Chiefs defense. So Same team here, but I had the 2 tight ends, and this team was fortunate enough to take first. I took third in the blitz by 0.14 points, and I had Cousins. Lost to Max Dollery, who also took third here. He had an incredible weekend. As always, shout out to him. He's been absolutely crushing it. So hope this helps you guys for the divisional weekend and how I think about things. I will be going more in depth with the plays I think will be valuable for this weekend on the Friday preview. Hint, I'm very bullish on Arizona and that Green Bay game, in particular Arizona. So I'll be discussing that, and we'll dive into the 10 players that remain that are competing for that $5 million first place prize. Any information that I know about them, I'll kind of just talk about their playing styles from what I've noticed. And I'll give some information on what I think is going to be good picks for the weekend in the divisional round. So good luck in all your contests. Hope to see more Fantasy Labs members at the top of the leaderboard.